This is my Spokane, the leader and the founder of Church Governance Solutions. I want to continue with the topic that speaks about character traits of a church leader. Character traits of a church leader. And this is part 2 today. And I want to start by sober-mindedness as a character trait of a church leader. Sober-mindedness. And we emphasize in this because the Bible is really very clear that when you are a church leader, you cannot drink wine. When you are a church leader, you cannot drink alcohol, because otherwise your mind will be twisted and you will lose your sobriety, and you may actually find yourself losing self-control in the process. Now, sobriety is very important, and sober mind is actually very, very key as well, because sober mind is able to focus. Sober mind is able to focus on the work at hand, and everything that one does, you are able to focus on that when you're sober. And secondly, I want to emphasize the fact that people of sober minds, they are able to plan things appropriately and therefore follow up on their plans and do them. And they are able actually to plan things and therefore articulate those plans and to make sure that they come to pass. It is very important, therefore, that one becomes sober-minded, because when you're sober-minded, actually, you are able to remember. Your attention is elevated when you're sober, and you are able to be attentive to everything that you do, and even attention to detail. And there are those people that looks disorganized in their lives. It's purely because they are not sober-minded in everything that they do. And remember that when you are sober-minded, your concentration level is very high. And therefore, I want to emphasize that as a church leader, you need a level of sobriety that will make you have attention in everything that you do, that will help you to have a high level of concentration, that you may be concentrate in everything that you do. Remember that as a church leader, you are a leader of a vision. You are somebody who's been given a task by God, which is a vision that is put upon you. You've got a purpose that you're actually chasing to make sure that it is completed. But it is actually going to take a sober mind in order to pursue a vision and fulfill it. It is going to take a sober mind in order to put proper plans for that particular vision and complete them. And it is very important, therefore, that you become a sober-minded person, because your concentration level will be elevated, as I say, and you'll be able to plan things and be able to articulate those plans as well, and follow up on everything, the task at hand, and be able to fulfill that. People that are sober, they are able actually to deal with people, because they will remember everything that they speak to people and be able actually to articulate those things back to the people. Because remember, sometimes you're speaking to your people and you may not be sober enough. One, you may even forget the names of the people. Sometimes you forget even the tasks and promises that you have actually brought about and promised the people. Now, if you are not able to remember that which you have promised the people, and therefore be able to articulate it and meet the targets that you have set for yourself, you start actually losing the integrity that you're supposed to have. And that is why the character trait of sober-mindedness becomes very important for a church leader to be able to remember everything that they've set up as a promise. Every promise that you've raised unto the people, you must be able to remember that, and therefore chase it and articulate it in a way that you'll be able to finish it. This is very key, that we emphasize the fact that the church leader must be sober-minded at all times. Secondly, a church leader must have a good behavior. Now, it is contentious to explain what a good behavior is all about. Good behavior is actually how you behave around people. Good behavior is how you conduct yourself in the midst of the people, because that's very important. Now, good behavior is not judged by yourself, but is that which can be judged by other people, and they may still say is a good behavior. Because remember that the scale of judging a good behavior, if it is done by yourself, you may actually behave in a way that is unpalatable for the society at large, for the people at large as well, but you may feel that you're behaving correctly. But good behavior should be judged by the people. Now, when we speak about good behavior, we're speaking about what is socially acceptable. What is socially acceptable, therefore, becomes that which is an expectation from the people. And some of these things are written down in the Bible by the commandments of the Lord and all the principles of God, by the word of God. But there are those unwritten laws that will judge whether you have got good behavior or not. There are those traits that when you are having them, that cannot be judged as good behavior. And this is very important. We may not mention them all at all and clarify them, but good behavior has got certain traits: loving the people, taking care of the people, good respect and honor of other people, and also being careful of how you treat people. And all these are good behavior. And good behavior, as I said earlier, is what is socially acceptable, even amongst the same community that you're living in. There are those things that are just not good behavior. Like, for instance, if you're going to take things that don't belong to you, if you're going to lie about other people and talk bad about other people, things that are not even happening, even though it may be things that has happened, but when you start to spread rumors and lies unto people, that cannot be good behavior. And I want to emphasize that as a church leader, don't find yourself in the midst of gossip mongers. Don't you find yourself in the midst of people that are talking bad about other people. Don't find yourself in the midst of people that are behaving untoward, people that are behaving in an unrespectable manner. This is very important. Now, a church leader is actually somebody who's having good behavior, somebody that we can look at and say, we want to be like this person. This is very key. And I'm emphasizing this because church leaders, therefore, should guard their own behavior. They should guard their own morals around the people, and even when they're not around the people. Because that which you do alone in closed doors, you may be able to do it amongst the people. But there are things that when you do them inside closed doors, if they are shameful, you may actually find that being revealed outside as well. So please behave good, whether you are seen by people or when you are not seen. Because this is not doing for the people, you are doing for yourself. Because remember, good behavior shapes up your character and you become somebody that people respect highly and people hold at high esteem based on the behavior that you display amongst the people. This is very, very important. Now, good behavior, therefore, is something that one must be conscious of. Good behavior is something that one must guard against wrong behaviors and make sure that every single day when you leave, you are conscious of things that are not acceptable around. And therefore, you cannot do something that is not acceptable that will actually cause cause a disrepute against the church or against the word of God or against the members of the same church or against even the people that you live with. And this is very important, therefore, that we emphasize that as a character trait of a church leader, one of those is good behavior. And good behavior, therefore, is recommended to each and every church leader. And it becomes very important that we emphasize that. Now, another thing that is a character trait for a church leader is you need to be hospitable. Hospitable is ability to care for others, ability to sacrifice for others more than you do for yourself. Now, this is done by ability to focus and say, if something happens to somebody, would I be comfortable if it happens to me? The pain that somebody is going through, if it is caused by me, would I bear it if somebody else will cause the same pain to me? If somebody is speaking this to me, how will I take it? Why should I talk the same thing to other people if I'm not going to be comfortable in people speaking the same thing to me? Hospitable means, therefore, that you take care of other people and you are able to be a good host. We're talking about if somebody has to stay overnight by your house, how do you treat them? How do you take care of them? That is hospitable. How do you welcome people in the first place? How do you make sure that people are comfortable around you? Because hospitable people are those that everyone around them becomes comfortable. everyone around them becomes okay, and make sure that they are comfortable with them. And I want to emphasize the fact that it is therefore very important that you become hospitable as an individual, particularly when you are a church leader. You need to be hospitable because people are going to come to your church, people are going to come to your house as well. And they should not see that which they would not appreciate while you are a church leader. Because you cannot stand in front of people and preach another gospel that you're not actually executing. You cannot preach something else that it is not you. Something else that is not reflected by your own life. So hospitality of a human being or hospitable spirit is actually the one that is going to create you to be seen as somebody who's caring unto people. And therefore you can be able to communicate with people because then your character trait reflects who you are. And it actually resembles who Christ is. And therefore goes according to what the Word of God says. Because you cannot continue saying, please listen to what I'm saying and don't follow what I do. You cannot keep on doing that. There must be a point whereby people can look at you and see how hospitable you are and therefore follow your footprints of hospitality that you have in your life. I want to end up here today, your host, Maikonas Bongani. I hope that you've learned something out of this and you will actually join us tomorrow as we do continue with the very same topic, and that will be part 3, by the way, tomorrow. So please join us. But before I check out, I want to remind you that we're having the Facebook page, Maikonas Bongani. Please like that page. The Facebook page, Church Governance Solutions, like the page as well. And also our YouTube channel. Make sure that you visit our YouTube channel, Maikonas Bongani. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Make sure that you also follow us on these social media platforms and be able to follow every single teaching that we put up. And I believe that you'll be blessed as you do so. May the good Lord bless you. Your host, Maikonas Bongani. Once more, thank you very much for listening to us. And please allow me to check out here and say cheers for now.